What's up? Hey, so I ain't lying, man. I mean it this time. I'm gonna really try to do a short video. I mean, come on. Surely I can do it, right? All right, so HOGUE DEKA. Yeah, picked this up on the secondary market and I checked it in and put it in my pocket and did not run a video on it. But I want to get a video on it, and the main reason is because it's so nice. I mean, I'm just going to tell you right up front, man, this is a cool knife. And I mean, I think it's got some hype, like it's kind of out there, like it's definitely one that you should have, that you should try, that you should get. Like it's an automatic standard to get one. And it kind of lives up to it. It does a few other things for me too. But um, I'm going to get this off the table so we don't have to look at it. I wanted to, I don't know, just pull the box out and show what's up on a box, I guess. Um, but yeah, HOGUE DEKA. It's got this black finished CV 20CV, CPM 20CV blade. Elishewitz is the designer, I believe. I don't know. Um, and I think it's American made. Yeah, it says made in the USA, and I don't think you can say that if it's not actually made in the US, right? So yeah, it's a US made knife, which I mean to be honest on my channel, I don't have a lot of them. Only cuz I can't afford them, right? Like I got to buy these things. Now if they want to send me a couple, let me review them, put them in my pocket, I'd be happy to do it. But I'm not on that list, man. There's a list of people that get stuff. Hey, man, I'm just a knife collector that likes to take apart knives and video the stuff. But so it says USA on a blade as well, so I'm pretty sure that it's made in the US. This is a USA knife. There's a couple of things, and I want to talk about this action first because it's it's one of a couple of knives that had brought me back to, I don't know what Hogue is calling this, so bear with me if plunge lock, axis lock. I don't know what Hogue calls theirs, so forgive me for being ignorant about that. But this particular knife, and there's a couple others that have brought me back around to this type of axis lock because I kind of got away from them. Like I have some, and I don't know, something happened to me that just made me go, I don't really like that lock anymore. I guess it just fell out of favor with me as a collector and a knife carrier, and so I stopped buying them. Like I could look at a knife, and you look at an image, and from a distance, it may look like a button lock, and then I'm interested, and I'm like, oh, and so I start checking the knife out, and then there's an image that shows me clearly that it's an axis lock, and I click off it. I just haven't been interested. I lost interest in them as a knife. Well, man, this Deka is one that just their ability to tune these knives and get these functioning well had brought me back around, and this is one of those. The action on this, the way that this functions, the lockup on this blade, the ability to one hand this, or one finger, the index finger or the thumb finger, and it's just wonderful, man. I really dig it, and so that's why I wanted to throw it on here, even though it's already been checked in, and I've been carrying this knife. I've got a few marks on the blade. When I got the knife, it didn't have any marks, but I, just, man, this axis lock on this thing is really good. So I'm going to get going. The action, man, for an axis lock or plunge lock, whatever they call this thing, the action on this thing is like, it's definitely an A action. I don't know how far you got to go to find one of these that runs better than this. Like, it runs wonderfully, and I dig it. Got me interested in these locks again. The ergonomics. It's got great jimping up on the spine. It's got a nice little lockdown spot for my index finger, and then my other fingers lock in here. And even though it's a smallerish, medium to smallerish knife, I can get, because of the taper back here, I can get a 4-finger grip. And so just the way that all this is structured with the milling that's in the G10, the texture that that's creating, it's not much of a finger guard, but I got to tell you, I'm going to call this as a confident grip. This is confident, man. Like, I'm really locked in on this blade, this reverse American Tanto. I'm getting it. It's a smaller knife, but very functional, and I 100% would personally see this as a self-defense knife, definitely a backup knife. Like, if I had to just carry a knife and it was going to be my primary self-defense, I've got some that maybe are a little more purposed for that. But if this was in my pocket, definitely backup self-defense. I mean, I'm digging it. I am locked in. Pocket clips disappeared back there. So with that said, let's check this clip out real quick. See how it runs in the pocket. It gets over the pants, and so it runs perfect, almost completely hidden. Just wonderful, this pocket clip. It's not big, it's not overly sprung. It's one hand in, one hand out, but the knife itself is so light that this pocket clip functions really well for this knife. Yeah, I mean, it works. It's functional. I like it. Check it for safety. Yeah, so it's got all these back spacers and stuff in here, these standoff barrel spacers. There's no way to contact the blade through the back. The tip is way recessed, way down in there. There's no way to get it. So the clip's good, the tip's good, and there's no contact back here. So 100% that this knife is safe in the pocket. Don't have any concerns carrying this. The blade itself, the blade has a double swedge. So there's a grind here to here. And then there's a different grind here that's taller. This grind only goes to there. This grind's all the way up here. And I believe the purpose of it is to maintain that edge thickness from the back to the front. And so it's pretty cool. I mean, I like it. And speaking of that blade shape, I wonder if it's sharp. How about like sharp as a razor blade, man? This thing is wicked sharp. Yeah, wonderfully sharp. Now, I will say I did strop this knife. Put a little strop on it. That's okay, but the knife is wicked sharp. You can choke up. There's a platform there to get up tight and, get that thing going, whatever that is. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about quickly with this, and it's the reason I'm not taking this knife apart again. So it's got these G10 scales, and then it's got the metal inserts here and here that contain the mechanism, the spring on both sides. It houses all that, but it's only in these little pockets here. Well, I can tell you for me, when I check this knife in, I mean, man, you want to talk about, I'm not going to say struggle, but you want to talk about how this gets put together. It's enough, that I'm not taking it apart again for my channel. Now, if somebody said, hey man, I'll support the next 5 knives you're going to do, or what, if you'll just please do a disassembly and assembly video. Sure. Yeah, I'll do it in a heartbeat. I mean, honestly, if somebody really asked, I don't want to say it like that because it's, just the comments below now. Somebody's like, come on, man, take it apart. I ain't doing it. I'm not running down that road again because, man, I'm just saying it challenged me to get this thing back together. Now, maybe it's just because I didn't know the trick to doing it, but I mean, I've taken 50, maybe 100 of these types of knives apart. This one tested me, man. It really did. So much so, I ain't taking it apart. So don't ask. I mean, you can ask. Oh, excuse me. And I don't know why, but I'm sick again. It's like, it's just never-ending sickness, man. It's just chasing me. So I got this thing it's up in my chest again. You probably hear it, me talking. But anyways, yeah, so that's why the knife's not coming apart, because it challenged me hard, man. And I would tell you, I'm not going to recommend take it apart. I mean, I know that the channel Discerning Man and all that's about, hey, when you get a knife, you gotta check it into battery, man. You gotta get it into, take it apart, make sure everything's functioning properly. But on this one, if it's running well, here's what I'm gonna tell you: leave it alone, man. Just leave it alone. Run the knife and put it to work. I'm cracking myself up. I'm so stupid. But yeah, this one challenged me, man. It was difficult. I mean, do I dare? So I took when I checked this knife in, I took it apart, and I had to quit. I tapped out. I was like, okay, and it was in pieces, and I just left it. I had to start a new day. And when I started my new day, my office is in the same space that I actually work out of and do other stuff. I saw it sitting here. I shot it a dirty look, man. Took my coffee and went to the other side of the room, man. I was like, yeah, no, I don't even want to. Don't look at me. I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like the next day, I literally had to calm down and come over and go, okay, me and you, man, like we got to get this figured out. I can't leave you disassembled. So I don't know if this is amusing to y'all or not, but this thing ran me, man. But I dig the knife, so it's enough that I had to bring it. The deployment, the thumb studs are really nice. They run really well. Oh, I'm such a child, man. Excuse me. HOGUE DEKA. I mean, I dig this knife. It is really nice. And what I would tell you, price and availability. So, White Mountain Knives has several configurations of this 20CV. There was also a version with some Magna Cut. And there's so many versions of this knife. But these 20CV versions, I mean, they're up there, man. They're 150 plus with a discount code. So, I mean, is it worth that? That's why I wanted to talk about the price and the availability. They're definitely available. I mean, secondary market, you can check for them on eBay. You may be able to find one where somebody just wants to get rid of it. Now, I can tell you that was the story with this knife. I had somebody that had this and they needed some money, and so I paid considerably less than any of that going. And it was in great condition when I got it. I mean, I put a couple of little scuffs on this blade. They're not true scratches, but it's got a couple of scuffs on it. But it was in like new condition, and I got it for a steal. It's why I got it. Based on what they're going for and what I had to pay for it, I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to buy it. I mean, I don't know if I'm bought in. Don't really want this axis lock. But then, man, when I took it out of the box and I worked it and checked it in, I was like, yeah, this thing is wonderful. So the big question, if you had to pay $150 for this 20CV version and whatever scales are on it, whatever, Do I think it's worth that? I mean, man, that seems high to me, but this is a very lightweight, very refined. I can't imagine anybody that would buy this and put it in their collection and then regretting the purchase, even at $150. I mean, that's my 2 cents. If I had paid $150 for it, having pocketed this knife and carried it, and what it's capable of, the grip of this knife, the comfortable carry that this thing represents, the sharpening choil, the reverse tanto, the ability. I man, I think it's worth it. I don't have any stock in Hogue and nothing like that. I just raw as a collector, got my hands on one. Do I think it's worth $150? I'm gonna say it's up there, but I don't think that I would regret having paid $150 for this. Now, the discerning man in me, I would most definitely look for a deal in that 100 to 125, maybe 130, $135 range. That's where I would go with this. I would be looking for sub 135. Anything below that, then to me, it's a purchase. You got to get one. It is so nice, man. So there's my 2 cents on the HOGUE DEKA. Appreciate you watching. And it's not really that much shorter, is it? That's probably because I cracked myself up for like 7 minutes. What an idiot, man. Appreciate y'all watching, though, and I appreciate y'all hanging out in my channel. I'm having fun, and my knife collecting is, I don't know, it's like doing something for me now. I don't feel like just a stupid hoarder. I'm digging it. So anyways, thanks for hanging out, you guys. Bye.